How do implied contracts relate to wrongful termination? Imagine working at a company 4 years and being told repeatedly that your job is secure. Then suddenly, you are fired without warning. Could that be more than just bad luck? It might be a case of wrongful termination based on an implied contract. In the world of employment law, many workers assume their job is protected by an employment contract. But not all contracts are written down. Some are formed through actions, words, or company policies. These are called implied contracts. They are not explicitly written but are understood from the employer's conduct. For example, if an employer promises job security or follows a specific process before firing someone, those promises can create an implied contract. Most states follow the employment at will rule. This means an employer can end employment at any time for any reason or no reason at all. But implied contracts can change this. If an employee can show that the employer's actions created a reasonable expectation of job security, that can limit the employer's ability to fire without cause. When an employee is fired in violation of an implied contract, it might be considered wrongful termination. For instance, if a company has a policy of giving warnings and opportunities to improve before firing someone, that could be seen as an implied promise. If the employer ignores those practices and fires the employee suddenly, it could breach that implied agreement. To prove an implied contract exists, employees need to show that their employer's words or actions created a reasonable expectation of continued employment. This could include consistent company policies, verbal assurances, or industry standards. Factors like how long someone has worked for the company and the nature of the employer's conduct are important. In practical terms, implied contracts can protect employees from unfair or arbitrary dismissals. If an employer has made promises about job security or has established fair procedures, those can form the basis of an implied contract. If the employer violates those promises by firing someone unfairly, the employee might have grounds to seek legal remedies. So, in simple words, implied contracts are like unspoken promises that can give employees extra protection. When an employer breaches these promises by wrongful termination, it can lead to legal action. Understanding this relationship helps workers know their rights and what to look for if they believe they've been unfairly fired.